Remember me, I'm the one who had to Remember me, I'm the one who had to Remember me.
Hi, I'm Dr. Edwin Moses, two-time Olympic gold medalist, four-time world record holder, alumnus of Morehouse College. We're here at the Edwin C. Moses track to watch the Edwin Moses Legends Meet. Enjoy the action.
Begins at the alma mater of a U.S. track icon. We welcome you to Morehouse College, the place where Edwin Moses got his start. This is the Edwin Moses Legends Meet. Alongside two-time world champ Trey Hardy, a voice you will hear quite a bit throughout this summer, including in Paris. Serenity Douglas is down in the field. I'm Will Bowling. We have got 16 races tonight in a meet named after Edwin Moses. Of course, we've got some elite 400-meter hurdle races, including world record holder Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. Trey, this is going to be a lot of fun.
It really is, Will. We're at the point of the season where it is put up or shut up time. Athletes going after standards, athletes going after the times they will need to make it into some of these year-end finals and championships. We've got the Olympic trials coming up very, very soon, and I just can't wait to see these guys tee it up. Weather is great out here in Atlanta, and the fields that we have are of the highest quality fields, in this being the very first professional track meet at an HBCU, Morehouse College. Can't think of a better place to have it.
Beautiful setting at the Edwin C. Moses track. There you see the field, this new surface, and just a moment ago, the boys' high school 400 took place. And we have got some incredible times for some high school runners who just took the track. There in the middle, lane number 5 in the Army green, Westlake High School junior Sidi Njie coming in at U.S. number 3 at 400 meters, 45:37, and he got out quickly.
Right here, just looks so smooth and so relaxed. A man running amongst boys, as it would seem, but he's still got a year left in high school. He's only a junior, Will.
And he looks so smooth around that curve. The field behind him, Jaden Robinson, Ricky Williams, senior from Camden County High School, ranked 15th in the United States this season at the high school ranks. But Sidi Njie made a very difficult race look very easy, powering across the final 50 meters. He coasts home with a win in our opening event here, the boys' high school 400 meters. Sidi Njie, the junior at Westlake High School. Remember that name and that face, because I believe you're going to be hearing the name and seeing that face quite a bit for years to come. 45:67, just 3/10 off of his best at 45:37 this year. And downstairs, we say hello to Serenity Douglas, who is sitting with a very tired but well-accomplished Sidi Njie.
When you run as fast as 45.6, we have to sit. But talk to me about your race strategy coming into this race.
That was strategy.
Now, you felt that headwind on the last stretch here. So how did you just continue to power through it? You even left the camera view a little bit, too.
On the infield, around the 55.
It was honestly just make sure I hit that mark, knowing my zones in the race. That's what I did.
Tell you about him here.
And this is a Legends Meet. Who are you most excited to see out here today?
Definitely Sydney McLaughlin. I know.
As an NCAA champion,
2 runs.
All right, congratulations, Steve. Back to you, Will.
Yeah, thank you, Serenity. Trey, I think we have that in common with CD. We are also very excited to see Sydney McLaughlin.
Yeah, very seldom do you get to be present, much less witness something like that. We've been waiting almost a year and a half to see Sydney step back on the track in her signature event, the 400 hurdles, and if that is any indication of what CD was able to do on the track, I think we're in for something special later.
So we mentioned we have 16 races today. This is the full schedule. Everything up to 1,500. We'll start with the 800s coming up here in just a moment on a picture-perfect afternoon in Atlanta, Njie. We got long jump, 100 hurdles, 110 hurdles. The hurdles races have to be excellent when the meet is named after the legendary Edwin Moses. That they will be this afternoon. Trey, obviously, as a multi-event athlete, a decorated athlete like yourself, as you look at the second half of our competition here tonight as well, we've got a couple of excellent multi-event athletes, Anna Hall, Kyle Garland, who are in the building as they continue to prepare for U.S. trials, hopefully a Paris Games as well.
Yeah, those are two, besides all the other stars in the meet, the two near and dear to my heart, the two that I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of shape they're in. Anna Hall coming off a just unbelievable kind of first season as a professional, but you could kind of see the wear and tear as it went along, and she gutted through an amazing performance in Budapest for silver. Ended up having to get surgery to take care of that knee, caused her all those problems over the summer, and she's working her way back into form. But she is Jackie Joyner-Kersee is her biggest fan, to put it that way. Like, talk about legends. If that woman is in your corner, you know you've got something special.
Absolutely.
And then Kyle Garland coming down, the Georgia Bulldog. He's the #2 all-time performer in the decathlon at the collegiate level. They call him Freight Train. I think he calls himself Freight Train. He's one of the most fun athletes to watch because you can just see him start to get going. The flywheel starts moving, and he's his own, like, energizer. You know, he's a huge, huge guy, and he doesn't make any sense. He can throw the shot over 54 feet. He can high jump 7 feet. We're going to see him long jump and run the hurdles here today. But, yeah, those are the two I'm watching to see what kind of shape they're in going into the Olympic trials.
The stars are out in Atlanta. The Edwin Moses Legends Meet underway. There is Edwin Moses, the man of the night. We're going to hear from him coming up next. 800s on deck. Much more still to come tonight here at the Puma American Track League.
Remember me, I'm the one who had
I'm very glad that the meet is going to be a world-class meet. It's going to be very good because, number one, it's 3 weeks before the Olympic trials, so everyone has to run. If you haven't made the standard, you're going to be trying. If you've made the standard already, you're going to be doing some technical work and conditioning and staying in shape. So, and also we have some really big stars here, so that's really a big plus. And I always envisioned having a world-class track meet right here on this track.
There is Edwin Moses, the Edwin Moses Legends Meet getting started here from the heart of Atlanta. Trey Hardy, Will Bowling. Trey, he mentions their technical work leading up to the Olympic trials, leading up to the Olympics. Walk me through, for a hurdler like Sydney McLaughlin, for multi-event athletes and Kyle Garland like we just talked about, what does that look like?
Well, what he's speaking about, you're in a fortunate position to be able to come to a meet like this and just have technical things to work out. You've already got a standard, or you've already, comfortable with where your fitness is. You're not trying to figure much out. You're taking things that you're working on in a practice setting, or things that you need to execute, and you're doing it in this controlled environment against great competition. This part of the season, the work is done. The hay is in the barn. Add whatever other colloquial metaphor you want about it's too late to make those wholesale changes. And so that technical work are the finer details, the fine grit sandpaper over the top of the work that this year has been. The fall and the winter have gotten you to this point, and now we're trying to just sharpen up that last little bit.
Serenity Douglas is downstairs trackside. Serenity, first of all, give us a weather check down there. How does it feel down in the environment, and what are you seeing out here? These athletes warm up and get ready.
Man, Will, I couldn't have asked for the better weather out here, the better weather in Atlanta, Georgia. Out here at Morehouse College and historical HBCU. I was speaking to Edwin Moses earlier. He's super excited, obviously, for Sydney McLaughlin. He was a 400 hurdler himself. How can you not be excited for her season opener? And she's doing it in the States as well. We have to have a little bit of Team USA pride in that. I was also talking with some of the jumpers. They have already started their competition. They're excited for it as well. There's not really much wind out here either, which is perfect for track and field temperatures. We all know it. So I'm really excited to get into all the races. Like you were saying, Trey, before, they're just putting those finishing touches into everything right before Olympic trials. They got to get through trials first. Of course, everyone wants to go to Paris, but it's trials first, and that's 3 rounds, and that could be pretty tough. So super excited to get into all of it. We have plenty of races to watch. I'm excited for it. Back to you, Will.
All right, thank you, Serenity. I am surrounded by Texas Longhorns tonight. That is certain between Serenity and Utrecht.
We don't have to get into that right now, but the real UT is very present. Very present.
If you had the over-under at 457 of the first time that was brought up, please collect your winnings at the pay window. This is Isaac Grimes, who is jumper number 7 out of our 7 men in the men's long jump. Personal best for him of 8:35. Back in 2021 at the NCAA Indoor Championships, where he was victorious. And Kyle Garland, 8-time All-American at the University of Georgia, like we just discussed, is in this field of 7.
See a 790 performance right there out of Isaac Grimes. As we look at the field here, we've got Olympian Stephen McCarter, U.S. champion, Will Williams, and a whole slew of NCAA All-Americans in this flight. You'll notice where the long jump pit is, Will. It's on the apron. It's on the D, if you will. And normally there's a north-south kind of, you're running along the same way that the lanes are running. And there is a natural crest to a field like that. It's drainage, it's within the legal limits. I really like jumping in the apron right there, because once you pass that goalpost in the middle, there is a slight downhill. Now, it does mess with some of these athletes if they aren't used to running on the aprons like this and to feel that extra speed. And on the other side of that, when you're building up and taking those first few drive steps into your approach, you're actually running a slight uphill. So the athletes that can navigate that the best and coordinate and steer onto the board are going to have the most success today.
And in the first 15 minutes of this competition today as well, I have learned something. This is new information for me, Trey. As I told you before, my claim to fame is being maybe the most unathletic SEC athlete of all time as a distance runner at the University of Tennessee. But it's things like that that are so interesting from the professional perspective, and it is why I would imagine a multi-event athlete is as well educated as anyone to broadcast track and field, considering you've done all of these events.
And it was partially out of necessity, Will. Like, I was never the best long jumper. I wasn't like always that. I had to figure it out and use everything to my advantage, and I was surrounded by really smart and dedicated coaches that helped point this kind of stuff out, because I would have just looked to the side and just said, this doesn't feel right, you know?
So long jump continuing. Continue to update you on that as we can. And our first event on the track coming up here in just about 4 minutes, the women's 800. We have got 13 athletes. We've got a pacer in Jada Griffin, who is tasked with taking them through at 57 seconds through the opening quarter. And we'll be talking a lot about Olympic standards as the night continues. The Olympic standard, the women's 800, 159.3, a field that includes a couple of women who have run that time in their careers, but a field that is looking for that standard in this go-around. for Paris 2024. And Njie Wilson is in this field, 8th at the U.S. Championships last year, but the entire track and field community, I think, Trey, came together to celebrate her in 2022 as the world indoor champion, a very decorated U.S. Olympian and champion in the half mile.
Yeah, I think her name pretty much became synonymous with the U.S. and the 800 meters. She made every team that was out there. She's a 12-time U.S. champion. And it's just nice to see her back on the track and competing well. And the same goes for Kate Grace. After an absence, had a child, caught COVID, had some issues with long COVID, but now is back and is racing herself back in. You know, she did an interview where she talked about tried to put a shine and put it like a positive spin on all of that. And she was able to do a lot of base work, a lot of like that sub-maximal training. And she's hoping to see some of that benefit as she tries to sharpen up for the Olympic trials.
Yeah, ran that LA Grand Prix a few weeks ago. Her first race in nearly 3 years. Her son, River, now with her and her family. 7th at the 2021 Olympic trials for Tokyo. As you continue to watch long jump here, as athletes warm up on the track as well. But Kate Grace, the 35-year-old who was 2016 U.S. champ. One of those many decorated athletes that'll be in this women's 800 coming up here in just a moment. Here's DeMarcus Simpson.
Yeah, former Oregon Duck standout. Like just slightly over the board there for DeMarcus. One of those things. And we're getting close to the Olympic trials, close to the Olympics, and I always think back to that Seinfeld joke, which just stings really, really badly. It's the national hero, no one's ever heard of you, and the worst place in the world is that dreaded 4th place at the Olympic trials. That's where DeMarcus found himself in 2021. It's something that without question fuels the next several years of your life and your dedication and the work that you put in. And it's something where you're at home, you're watching people compete, you wish you could be there, and it feels like it'll never come, and it feels like that moment's never going to come that you can redeem yourself. Well, we're already here.
Right.
Now we're here, and it feels like, how did this happen? How did it already get here?
Isaac Grimes, 5th at those 2021 Olympic trials, All-American at Florida State. To see him come through.
Isaac had a fantastic season in 21 with FSU. Jumped out over 8:35 at that magical indoor championships. We'll keep an eye on the long jump as these women line up for the 800.
So here's the field. The world lead, 155.76, blazing fast. And right there on the left side of your screen in the red and black of Atlanta Track Club, you see Olivia Baker talking about those first couple of places outside of qualifying spots at the U.S. Championship. She was 5th at the 2022 U.S. Championships, running 158.63, and a semifinalist last year. And there is Njie Wilson right there in the middle of the track, wearing hip number 8 today here at Morehouse College as we get set for our first gun of the night here to start off festivities at the Puma American Track League.
Hear the fans react to Njie Wilson and what she's meant to this sport and this distance and this race, and the amount of respect that she commands here. Like you mentioned, we'll know after that first lap what these women really have to do. Hopefully the pacemaker can bring them through in a time that just gives them the chance. You have to just get yourself out there to give yourself a chance to run this standard, and that's what all of these women are after right now. They'd love nothing more than to go to bed tonight with that in their back pocket.
And there on the outside, you hear public address announcer introducing Shafiqua Maloney as well. 158.69 indoors for her this past February. That is a career best. She has gone sub-2 in each of her last 2 races. Still looking for that Olympic standard of 159.3 here tonight. So it is the women's 800, the standard 159.3. Njie Wilson headlines this field of excellent half-milers off and running. 2 trips around the track here at the Edwin Moses Legends Meet.
Njie getting out very, very well. Clear of the fray. Not wanting to get tangled up as these athletes start to make their way and break for the rail. It's like Olivia Baker trying to sneak in to just secure her spot right there. Doesn't want to do any extra running. You know, well, the difference per lap on each lane is about 7 meters. So if you can imagine you're on someone's shoulder like Njie is right now on the outside of lane 1, how many extra meters she's going to have to run if she stays there for the duration of this. So you want to give yourself every advantage when the hundredths matter.
Former Arkansas Razorback Maloney leading festivities. Jada Griffin setting the pace in the all-blue out in front. She will step aside. You've got Chris Ann Gordon-Powell in there as well. This is anybody's race halfway home. Everybody trying to track down Shafiqua Maloney.
And Maloney still looking quite relaxed. And this is about that moment right when you get from 400 to 600 where you can make the decision. You can keep putting the hammer down, stay ahead of it, and stay aggressive, or let that fatigue sneak up on you. So you watch, it looks like Olivia Baker moving on the outside of Chris Ann Gordon, but Maloney looking tall, looking strong, looking relaxed.
Trying to hold off Kendra Coleman on this final 100 meters. Coleman looking strong. As they make the turn, Olivia Baker making a push. Here comes Kate Grace into the picture. The high arms from Maloney as she tries to coast over this finish line. 159.3 is the Olympic standard, and Maloney is right there. $159.31 for Maloney. 100th off of the Olympic standard.
We talked about how it feels to be the kind of the 4th place finisher and why the hundredths of a second matter. As the women come around, she just started to gap the field and did not let anybody close in on her. Kate Grace looking strong down the line. You can see no one else being able to break that 2-flat barrier and stick with her. That move that she made from 400 to 600 ended up being the difference right there.
And let's go downstairs to Serenity, who's with our winner.
I am Shafiqua Maloney. Remember the name, 159.31. You took it out hard from the very beginning. Was that your strategy?
Yeah, coach told me 57 to the first 4, so I know I had to get out and set up the pace, and told me when I get to 4 to work the 5, and then 127 to the 6 and finish, come home, so that's what I did.
And you've been on fire this season. You set a St. Vincent national record indoors just in February. Talk to me about some of your goals just coming into this meet.
I didn't have a good meet at LA, so for this meet I wanted to focus and be a little bit more dialed in and do what coach told me to do and see what happens. So he told me what to do. I came out here and I did that, and I'm okay. I wasn't expecting the time, but you know, I got faster and it's a work in progress, so I'm gonna keep out here working.
You did that. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well,
thank you, Serenity. Results from our women's 800. Wrap it up as we get ready for the men's 800 on deck. And just wrapping a bow on the women's 800, Trey. It's so great to see Kate Grace back out there, like you mentioned. And a nice finish for her in 2nd place. I think a lot of people certainly rooting for her and for good reason in her return to track and field this summer.
It really is, and I think every race back, she learns a bit more about herself. When you come back from those 2 things, not just having the complications along COVID, but becoming a mom, having this new world that you live in with new responsibilities every race back, learning something new about yourself and proving that you can do everything that you could do before that wonderful experience.
So that is where we are, right in the heart of downtown Atlanta here at the Edwin Moses Legends Meet. The men's 800 is on deck, an Olympic standard in this event of 144.7. And we have got one man who has run that. Vasky Anderson of Jamaica, national record holder of 144.7. He's run 145.29 this year. Ran his personal best last July in D.C. after a second-place finish at the Jamaican Championships, the 2022 Jamaican champion at 24 years of age, who has run 145, just a bit over that this season. He'll be there in lane number 3, as you see the outside of this field introduce. Another national record holder, Alex Amankwa, the Ghana record holder of 145.1. Amel Prince there, as well as you take a look at this field and get ready for 2 more laps here in Atlanta.
It looked like the wind has calmed down just ever so slightly as the sun gets low here. But this track is bouncy. This track looks fast. And I mean, we're going to say it ad nauseum. Everyone's on a mission.
Men's 800 off and running, Olympic standard 144.7. Shane Strike
Like the women,
in the Atlanta Track Club red and black. Could call this home turf for him. The U.S. indoor record holder at 1,000. That was a race we called a couple of years ago, indoors in the American Track League. See him in there as well. Abe Alvarado, Vasky Anderson going to the front.
Pacemaker taking him very strong. You can always tell how fast it's going by how strung out they are. It looks like they're bunching up a little bit now. We're about 5 athletes wide heading into this final lap. Someone's got to make a move and step on the gas and see who can be the first to 600 if they want to crack this standard.
So Vasky Anderson of Jamaica continues to lead Jesus Tanachu Lopez, the national record holder of Mexico, who's run 145.14 this season. Ran that in Marietta, just up the road in the American Track League. And he will go to the outside. The long strides of Tanachu Lopez and Anderson seemingly in sync with 200 left. And still a lot of time. There's Kwamel Prince, the former TSU Tiger, who's made his way to the outside. You got Sam Ellis, the 25-year-old 2023 Pac-12 champion at Washington. He's making a big push. This is still anybody's race in this field. If you laced up your spikes, you get in this men's 800, and Jesus Tanachu Lopez looked like he's gonna hold on. Had enough gas left in the tank on the final 100. And he will take the win, 145.79. Just off of his season's best. And there were a lot of guys in this one, in that last 150. You talked about the extra distance. There were a lot of guys out in lane 2 and 3 here on this last turn.
Yeah, I think looking back, there's going to be a couple of things you would discuss with your coach, but I mean, with 200 to go, everyone had a shot. Everyone made a move. Everyone made a surge. Everyone had something to give here. But Lopez met every challenge. Didn't look back in the rearview mirror. Could only hear footsteps all the way home.
Those are the results, 145.79, and Jesus Tanachu Lopez is downstairs with serenity.
Out on the track now. The men's 800 has concluded. Hurdle crew.
On the track every time.
Really not, but I was expecting run faster. I am looking for the Olympic standard, so this time I'm not very happy for this race, but I don't want to be sad. I just want to keep training to run faster, so in the future can break the record again.
I know you were saying that you're not happy with the time. So then what's next?
I hope in 2 weeks in New York, I hope run very fast there. So I will keep training.
Well, good luck on that, and congrats on the win.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Serenity. Jesus Tanachu Lopez. I always feel secondhand out of breath after hearing 800 runners talk.
I started breathing hard listening to him, but you could feel what he was saying. You could feel he's happy to win, obviously, but there is a level of I need to hit this standard. I think that's going to be the theme for the evening here in Atlanta.
Take a quick break and get you back for some high hurdles coming up in a few minutes. Tell you about some long jumpers, ton to come from Atlanta. Putting the hurdles on the track for the women's 100-meter hurdles that are next. We have got some big headliners in this field. Masai Russell, Kenny Harrison, Christina Clemens, Michelle Atherley, and much, much more. Again, you put hurdles on the track in a meet named after Edwin Moses. You got to bring it. And we feel like tonight, Trey, we have successfully brought it.
Yeah, and you can see how much they're putting into the effort to hit these times and to run fast on these straightaway races. Ordinarily, they would run the other direction, and they've switched it for the athletes so that they can run with a little more of a prevailing wind. They're not going to be, hamstrung with a headwind. So you could run the race of your life and run exactly what you need to do, but with a little bit of wind in your face, might come up just a little bit short. Doesn't look like it's going to be strong enough to get that dreaded, W next to the number, meaning there was just too much wind. You want to keep it under 2 meters per second. And they're doing everything they can to help these athletes not only just compete against each other and compete against the best of the best, but also just hit the times.
Beautiful Morehouse College hosting tonight's festivities, and on the long jump runway, chasing the Olympic standard of 6 meters 60, you've got 6 outstanding long jumpers that are getting ready to start here in just a moment. I mean, you can take your pick on who we highlight first out of this field. You got Chantel Malone, who made the Olympic final in Tokyo, finishing 12th there. Tyra Gittens won the Trinidadian title with a 6:33 long jump last July. Her 6:96 is a national record. 3-time NCAA champion who made the transfer from Texas A&M to Texas in her college career.
It's not a transfer that you often see, but one of the most impressive athletes that I've ever witnessed. Just seeing in person the things that she was able to do in the multi-events and the long jump specifically.
And it is a great field. Tiffany Flynn, Shaquila Saunders finished 6th at the 2022 U.S. Championships and the 21 trials, 9th in Doha back in 2019. And the 3-time Jamaican champion, Shanice Porter, who has jumped 6 meters 51 this year. That is as good of a field of 6 as you're going to find a lot of places around the world in the horizontal jumps, getting ready to get started here in just a minute. So here in the Edwin Moses Legends Meet, here is a closer look at how Edwin Moses got his career started.
In the sport of track and field, I think the basic system is to have all-comers meets like this to get kids interested in the track and field when they're early, even if they don't know what event they're going to run. So I started like this when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
So early?
Yeah, just jumping in the track meet. We'd get on a bus and ride down to Cincinnati, and my mom would give us 50 cents for each event. So we'd have like $1.50, $2, and we'd go and jump in 4 events of our choice.
And there is Edwin Moses watching on here at his meet here in the Puma American Track League. This guy was unbeaten for 10 years. He won 122 consecutive races. 107 of those were finals, Trey Hardy, between 1977 and 1987.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say he would have been a 3-time Olympic gold medalist had the U.S. not boycotted the games in 1980. But as dominant of a performer and an athlete in any sport, any event,
another legend.
You're absolutely right. In a world where the term GOAT is maybe used too much, I think it applies with Edwin Moses in a lot of ways.
Very much so. There's a lot of many a debate in our circles about if Edwin were in his prime today, what would happen in this event. The 400 hurdles just is one of the hottest events in track and field right now. As we look at the start list for the short hurdles, but we'll get back to this conversation. We can have that debate.
We absolutely
later
can.
this meet if we want to.
Women's 100-meter hurdles, Paula Vasquez on the inside, 4-time Puerto Rican champion who ran her personal best this season back on April the 20th. And then a bunch of runners who already have that Olympic standard of 12:77 in this field. That is Kenny Harrison, number 2 all-time, 12:20 in 2016. Tokyo silver medalist, 2023 world bronze at Budapest, a 5-time U.S. champion, most recently in 2022. This year she has run 100, she has run a 4x100. This is her first 100-meter hurdles event since the 2023 pre-classic. She ran 12:44 for 3rd there on that day.
If you can remember in 2016, Kenny Harrison coming off a fantastic season, number 1 in the U.S., gets to the finals, does not make the U.S. Olympic team, yet shortly after the Olympic Games sets the then world record. Just focused, determined, great competitor.
So there is the field, 4 open. Runners with the standard, Michelle Atherley, Masai Russell, Kenny Harrison, Christina Clemens, and Tamisha Roswell.
Be remiss if I just didn't mention Michelle Atherley and her performance in Gotsis, the multi-event athlete out of the University of Miami, fantastic hurdler in her own right here, working on this event just to keep things sharp, to get into a fast race.
Sad.
Clean start of the women's 100-meter hurdles, the A race here in Atlanta. Kenny Harrison and Masai Russell simultaneous there on the right side of your screen. Christina Clemens in the all red. Here comes Harrison, close to the finish, and it looks like Kenny Harrison took it right at the death. 12.6 for Kenny Harrison, taking it in front of Atherley in 12.63. A close finish. In our top 3, Christina Clemens 3rd, 12.65.
Call that a blanket finish right there. Looks like everybody got out cleanly. Christy Clemens and Masai Russell having just a little bit of an edge on Kenny Harrison. But Kenny able to keep space, keep away from those hurdles, and carry speed over the last 2 barriers to maintain that velocity and overtake Michelle Atherley and Christina Clemens right at the end.
So just an amazing finish there from Kenny Harrison. Great shot by our crew the second half of that race. To take it, Salmon 4th, Tamisha Roswell rounding out that top 5. And a group of 5 runners that already have that Olympic standard. Kenny Harrison stands by downstairs with Serenity.
Now, Kenny, you opened up your season about 2 weeks ago at the Atlanta City Games. You ran 12.67 there, got the win. Now you're coming out here and running 12.6 again. I saw that you were not so happy with the time, but just speak to the level of competitiveness that the 100 hurdles has.
Yeah, anytime you come out here,
and get the win. It's good. I got a lot of things to fix. Grateful that they put on this meet. Glad I was able to show up and get the win.
Now, speaking of this meet, you decided to stay in the U.S. and not go overseas. Talk to me about why that is and why it's so important to have meets like this.
I think it's important to have meets like this in the States because it gives us Americans a chance to stay here, stay healthy. Sometimes traveling can get in your legs. So the fact that there's so many meets here in the States, I think it's a great thing for us Americans.
Thank you, Kenny. Congrats.
Thank you.
There is the fantastic Kenny Harrison. 12-6 makes sense as well. A lot at stake this year, obviously, in an Olympic year. You want to take away any opportunity of something weird happening with travel, and makes events like this very important.
Yeah, it's a great segue to just throw some love at Paul Doyle, the kind of de facto CEO of the American Track League, puts his heart and soul into the sport, providing these opportunities for athletes domestically. American Track League pulling out some of the great performances that we've gotten to see over the last several years. As we see Anna Hall, we see right there, she's got a World Championships bronze from Eugene a couple of years ago and a silver medal from last summer, but picked up a little bit of an injury at those championships last summer. Had to get it surgically repaired. It's in her takeoff leg, so you can imagine the road back has been a little precarious, and she's doing exactly what a number of other athletes here are doing. We're trying to sharpen up, trying to work out those last little technical aspects so that she can come to the trials healthy and make the team and head to Paris.
Number 5 all-time in the heptathlon, 6,988 points, 2-time defending U.S. champion. It feels, Trey, like Anna Hall, one of those athletes we talk about a lot in Olympic years. You have marketable superstars in track and field, then you get some marketable superstars that are just U.S. Olympic team stars. And it feels to me like Anna Hall is reaching that level of someone that this summer not just the track community is going to know, but U.S. Olympic fans are going to know.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. She announced herself on the scene at that World Championships in Eugene and set herself up beautifully for this summer. She's going to be a name and a face that the American public will become quite familiar with, I'm sure.
And a clean start here in our women's 100-meter hurdles. Anna Hall on the left side of your screen. Andrea Vargas, the Costa Rican national record holder, out very well on the left side of your picture there, side by side with Kayla Robinson. It was Vargas with the excellent start out of the blocks. And she'll take it, 12:97 for the 28-year-old in front of Destiny Rocker second in 13.0. So that is the only time tonight we'll have 2 sections on the track, and we get a second look here at how it went.
Everybody clean out of the blocks right there. Vargas, aggressive from the start, aggressive through the middle, and aggressive into the tape, holding off Destiny Rocker. The wind pretty negligible, so kind of like running in a vacuum, almost 0.0 on the wind. We see Anna Hall down in 13:67, close to a season's best, well off a lifetime best for her, but every race is just getting more and more confident in that knee.
And Serenity is downstairs with our winner.
All right, Andrea, talk to me about your race strategy coming into.
Well, I just was focusing on my start. I think I missed a little bit, but I managed well, and also I wanted to have a good race. I knew it was going to be tight, but I I felt very good in the race and tried to be consistent at the end.
Representing Costa Rica, so what would it mean to you at the Olympics?
Well, it means a lot for me. Well, it's my home country, and I love Costa Rica so much. I'm so proud. I hope that Costa Ricans are so proud too. And I did my best today, and let's see, just focus on details, and yeah, I think to the other one.
Well, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Will.
Pura vida, Andrea Vargas taking the win, the 5-time Costa Rican champion, talking downstairs with Serenity here as the Edwin Moses Legends Meet continues. And when we come back, the men's 110 hurdles are next.
Remember me, I'm the one who had you, baby. Remember me, I'm the one who had you, baby. Remember me.
Back with you here at Morehouse College, the Edwin Moses Legends Meet. First attempt on a long jump for Tyra Gittens.
Really great lift off the board there. Nice, smooth, fair jump. Not chopping stride, running right through it. That's exactly how you want to start the competition. And after the measurement we got, that is a season's best for Miss Gittens.
6 meters 46 for Tyra. National record holder for Trinidad and Tobago at 6.96. The 3-time NCAA champion. 2021 in the heptathlon and 2021 in the pentathlon and high jump indoors. Getting started here in Atlanta.
Just a fabulous day for a track meet. It's one of those things that you can see the stands are packed. Some of the best athletes in the country stepping up, and Kenny made a great point. It's really difficult to get over to Europe at any point in the year, much less, a couple of weeks before the Olympic trials. That's the last thing you want to do, is hop on a plane, waste a day and a half, get ready, compete, and then have to come back and deal with jet lag and try to get that out of your legs and miss a lot of really important training.
That is the start list for the men's 110 hurdles. That is up next. Olympic standard in this event, 13:27. We've got one athlete here who has run that. That is Eric Edwards, 24-year-old American who was 4th at the U.S. Championships last summer, running 13:26 in the final second in the NCAA at LSU in 2022. And Kyle Garland, another decorated multi-event athlete, 2023 NCAA indoor champion, the Georgia Bulldog, here and ready to go in this men's 110 hurdles.
You can see that focus and freight train right there. He's got a cracking personal best in this event in the 110 hurdles, worth a ton of points. It's the first event for Kyle on day 2 of the decathlon, and so it's not often that you get to run one of these quote-unquote fresh. He's already done the long jump, but he's coming over to run the hurdles with a little bit more fresh legs than what he's accustomed to. And so again, just trying to sharpen that axe and get ready for the trials.
When you talk about meets like this too in Olympic seasons, how much are you approaching a competition like this differently? Whereas if this was Puma American Track League getting started on May 31st, 2023, what is the mindset on May 31st, 2024? How different do you allow yourself to treat a meet like this in an Olympic year?
That's a difficult question to answer, but to steal a phrase that I won't say who I got it from, but it just means more. And you're running out of opportunity. You're running out of time. And the thing that you've been dreaming about and wishing would be here already is here. It's at your front door. And I think that there's two camps that you live in. There's an anxious one that just thinks they need more time. I just need one more race or one more thing. And then there's the camp, oh my God, I'm so ready.
Let's race tomorrow. Right.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Like, we are ready to go. And I bet we have a handful of both kinds of athletes here that, like Edwin said at the very beginning, are using this to just sharpen up, do the last little things. And then we've got a couple that really need this. And I think this is one woman that is in a whole other category, not the first or the second one I mentioned, but that of uber confidence, Will.
Well, and we talked earlier about Anna Hall being one of the stars of Team USA, potentially, regardless of sport. You might be looking at the star of Team USA, regardless of sport, here in Sydney, McLaughlin-Levrone. She has not run in her, I guess you could say, signature event. Trey, kind of every time she steps on the track these days, it's kind of a signature event. But 400-meter hurdles, the event she holds the world record in at 50:68, and she will run tonight at 7:55 Eastern Time.
Yeah, set your alarms on your phones right now. When that alarm goes off, set it for 7:53 to give yourself some time. You're going to want to watch this whole thing. But the entire world will be watching what this woman does later this evening.
Men's 110 hurdles ready. Eric Edwards runs in lane number 5. We are watching him. Dylan Beard on his inside. A clean start, and it's Beard right there in the all black in the middle of your screen with Edwards right to his left. Cameron Murray with good speed in the gray, and Cameron Murray and a late charge there from Edwards, tight at the finish. Blanket finish in both high hurdles races for the women and now for the men. We continue to wait. This one as close as it gets, I believe, right here, Trey Hardy.
Last 3 hurdles for these gentlemen, not the cleanest. It's where you can just get a little bit tight at the end of the race, and that one little click of a hurdle can break the momentum. As Eric Edwards runs a clean last 3 hurdles, carries all that speed into the line, versus how Cameron Murray finished, maybe got a little bit too high and pulled down a couple of those hurdles on the way in. That finish line can't get there soon enough. They're still measuring this thing out, it looks like.
I would give the slight edge maybe to Edwards here, but got excellent timers, and if they're taking their time here, then obviously this is as close as it gets. The suspense builds on who gets to speak with Serenity Douglas as well. And still we wait.
I think, though, the athletes are seeing what we're seeing. It's just still 0-0-0 on the clock. We're hoping that those guys did not just run that race in vain. It wasn't in vain for time, but it was one for us. We actually got to see
certainly
a great 100-meter hurdle race.
And there is our master of ceremonies, Paul Doyle, the aforementioned man in the purple Puma shirt, on the case.
I was fortunate enough to have Paul was my agent, so maybe this is just a little bit biased, but the things he was able to do for me, just on a personal level and like a mentorship level, and then on an opportunity level, the same thing he's doing for all these gentlemen in this race, providing this opportunity in the setting, in the scene, to be able to get this kind of race in. And it's not just a race. This is training. This is something that pulls things out of you you cannot duplicate in a practice setting. The adrenaline, the crowd, everything.
So we're still waiting. And I promise you, the second we've got an answer or a time to tell you about, we will give it to you. But regardless, an excellent finish for Eric Edwards after an amazing start for the U.S. indoor runner-up, Cameron Murray.
What a beautiful scene right there. Never get tired of that shot. Historic. Morehouse College. With the backdrop of the Mercedes-Benz facility in downtown Atlanta.
And there are the two men who are at the center of this story right now. And but next we've got a men's 100 that is scheduled to begin any minute. And I imagine decisions that are being made in real time down there at Morehouse College. There you see again the picture. I love always, Trey, the feeling of running in a downtown meet like this. Growing up in Nashville, got the chance to run a lot at Vanderbilt University right there in the middle of downtown Nashville. There was something different about just the feel of you're in a big city, you're not on the outskirts, a lot of nice picturesque college campuses, high schools that are fun, but the feeling of being right in the center of everything as well. Morehouse College, we are right in the center of the city of Atlanta.
Bringing track to the people.
That's right.
Bringing track to the people right here. Something I did not know, just a fun fact, that Morehouse College started as a seminary.
Yeah.
Back in 1867. It didn't become Morehouse College until 1913.
Yeah,
I say that like it was yesterday. Like it's been 101 years, or sorry, 111 years as Morehouse.
And downstairs, Serenity Douglas is working hard, continuing to talk to everybody, warming up, having just competed. And Kyle Garland just got done on the hurdle. Serenity downstairs with Kyle.
Look, Trey, I'm here with Kyle Garland. Trey Hardy's on the other side of the camera, long way away, yes. Now, you already competed in long jump and you just did hurdles. So you're doing some fine tuning before Olympic trials. What were you looking to see out here today?
I was just looking to see consistency. I know Coach and I have been working on a lot of really good stuff. So, just coming out here and getting some good competition reps, seeing how the body feels, being fine-tuned and being ready for 3 weeks for the big dance.
And you didn't have to travel too far. UGA is right down the street. Saw a couple Georgia coaches out here. Who did they bring out here for you?
They brought out the whole staff. I mean, we have a good contingent of people, some people on the team, and, I had 3 coaches with me out here as well to help myself and a couple other people on the team. So it's a good little showing, so it feels like I'm home crowd.
All right, Kyle, we got to get out of the 100 people's way, but congrats on everything. Good luck at Olympic trials.
Thank you so much.
Back to you, Will.
Kyle Garland with Serenity Douglas here downstairs at Morehouse College. Men's 100 is on deck. And it sounds like a confident man going into the U.S. Olympic trials in 3 weeks. And let's quickly go back downstairs, though, before the men's 100 to Serenity, who's got our winner.
Eric, that was a very long wait to find out who the winner is, but just speak to the level of competitiveness that the 110 hurdles have.
Oh, man, it's so deep. It's so deep. I'm like maybe 17 in the world, but like 6 in my own country. PB like 13, 15, but that's like even barely scratching the surface, but we're going to get it down. We're going to get in the mix of that smoke. We're going to make this team.
All right, quickly, what's next?
I don't know yet. We're going to see if New York. If not New York, maybe the Bahamas. If not the Bahamas, then straight to Charles.
All right, well, congratulations on the very tight win. Will?
New York or Bahamas. All right, 2 very different places. I love it.
Love to hear it from Eric, though. Let's get in the mix of that smoke. The conversation that they just had is a conversation that is had all over the United States. I can promise you that.
From one Georgia Bulldog and Kyle Garland to another, this is Matthew Bowling in his first 100-meter race of the year. 2-time NCAA indoor champion at 200 meters. Raced a lot of 400s indoors. Personal best of 44.89 in Jamaica on May 11th. This is a guy that was a star in high school and continued with high expectations at Georgia and now as a pro.
He's run sub 10, sub 20, and sub 45. Now he's running the shorter distance here.
Matt Bowling in lane number 3, PJ Austin in 4, and they're going to bring him back.
Well, that looked like a very late second gun. You see athletes getting almost 20, 30 meters down the track. We'll wait to see what that was, if it was, you know, crowd noise, if it was blatant. I didn't really see anything with my naked eye right there.
It's Elijah Hall, 3-time NCAA champion, is on the outside of this excellent field that also includes Tokyo Olympian Ronnie Baker. This was the start.
It did look like lane 8 right there. Elijah Hall with a little flinch on his back leg as we see the referee keep walking, having a conversation with Mr. Hall. It's a part of the sport. It's something you don't think about. You're practicing. You always have a great start when you're in practice.
And Hall will, after getting that card and disqualification, come back in.
And you are allowed to run under protest. So he can come in, run under protest. They'll take another look at it and remove him from the standings if it is deemed that he did false start in an effort to keep things on time, keep the meet moving forward. Start to see this a little more often these days. Like, okay, sure, go run under protest, and then we'll settle this after the race.
So Hall will stay in lane number 8. Matthew Bowling at 3. We mentioned PJ Austin, Florida record holder with a 9.89 at the NCAA prelim last year. 23-year-old who opened his season at 10.02 in Gainesville. That is his season's best. The Georgia-Florida rivalry continues here between lanes 3 and 4 right there. And Matt Bowling and PJ Austin.
The men's 60 indoors was hot. It was really fast, but outdoors we've yet to see that breakthrough, that slew of 9.9s and 9.8s that we're used to. Hopefully this gets us going.
Clean start this time for Matt Bowling. For the rest of this crew here in the men's 100, it's Austin who's got a step on his rival to the right. Austin starting to surge middle of the race, and PJ Austin will take it. 10.03. Just a tick off of his season's best. Ronnie Baker was second in 10.15. Jelani Walker rounding out the top 3.
Great middle of the race right there for PJ Austin. Into a negative 0.9 headwind. So all things considered, a fantastic run. He's got to be pretty happy with the result right there. Everybody out. Well, you see Bowling just kind of falling out of the back, just did not get that projection and extension, but as soon as PJ hit the middle of that Morehouse logo, he was gone.
And into the wind, a 10.03 is something PJ Austin will absolutely take, as you see the full results here from Morehouse College in our men's 100 meters.
I mean, I'm going to keep going back to it. That's a very fast time on this track into a headwind. I'm going to project this out into the Eugene atmosphere, that Hayward magic, maybe a little tailwind. Some of the fastest races in history have been run on that straightaway. I mean, I'm not a biomechanist, but I think that's one of those 9.89 races that could get him onto a team.
And PJ's downstairs with Serenity.
All right, PJ, you had a season's best of 10:02. You came out here and ran 10:03. We know that that's how the 100 just goes. But tell me about some things that you've been working on with Coach Holloway.
I've been working on my start this year, and it's about getting the reps in, first year pro. So I'm still getting adjusted, but I feel good.
Now, speaking of your first year being pro, what's the hardest thing about being pro so far?
Just not running as much as college, but you just got to get used to it, and then you'll be good.
You missed the 4x4s, maybe jumping on the 4x1 too?
Just the 4x1, no 4x4s though.
What's next for you?
We got trials in 3 weeks. Got to get to Paris.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Well,
DJ Austin trying to get on that plane to Paris with the U.S. Men's 100 was quick. Let's hope the wind decides to go the other way for the women's 100-meter runners. They are on deck here from Atlanta.
Remember me, I'm the one who had I'm the one who had to remember me.
Women's 100-meter runners are on deck here from Morehouse College. The Edwin Moses Legends Meet continues with two-time world champion Trey Hardy. I'm Will Bowling. Serenity Douglas down there in the heat downstairs. And here in this women's 100-meter field, you have got an outstanding Canadian in Audrey Leduc, who just broke a 36-year-old Canadian record of 10:98. Said she didn't even know it right away. She was happier to get the Olympic standard of 11:07 in the women's 100-meter dash, a lifetime best for the 25-year-old who made the semifinals of the World Indoor Meet in the 60. And Audrey Leduc rewrote the record books up north, and she's looking to continue that big summer here.
It's maybe a lot of the people watching's first time seeing her, but she is up against some amazing talent. Tamara Clark on that fantastic World Championship team from Eugene in the 4x1. She looks ready. She looks focused. A 10:88 personal best. She's run right around 11 flat for the season. Again, one of those athletes looking to just start to sharpen up and get ready for those opening rounds in Eugene in late June.
Saw Favor Ofili in there as well, the 21-year-old who is already a three-time Nigerian champion, holding the national record in the 200 at 21:96. She ran that at Gainesville a couple of years ago. The former LSU Tiger. She still needs that Olympic standard of 11:07. She has a lifetime best that is second best in this field at 10:93. And Tamara Clark, who you introduced, second best this season, 11:03 season's best for her. She's already got the Olympic standard, as does Solera Barnes, who runs in lane number 3, the 25-year-old former USC Trojan who started her career at Kentucky. Clean start. And Clark is out well there on the right side of your screen. Solera Barnes in lane 3 with a slight edge. It's Barnes, it's Clark, and it's Clark at the line. Tamara Clark, 11:04. And Solera Barnes at 11:08 right behind her. Javianne Oliver rounding out the top 3 at 11:14.
Roll Tide, Will. Nice win right there against a very, very talented field by Tamara Clark. And no matter what the time is, it always feels good to have somebody coming up, hey, we'd like to speak to the winner, as Tamara goes and finds Serenity.
Tamara Clark, 11:04. She'd already gotten that standard. And the pride of the Crimson Tide takes the win in this loaded field in the women's 100-meter dash. And a great finish there, the race that she controlled. Barnes second, as you see the full results. Leduc fourth at 11:17. as she continues now and has the pressure of being introduced as the Canadian record holder every time she takes the track. Serenity is downstairs with our winner.
All right, tell me, for starters, what was your race strategy coming into today?
Just get out and try to hold it. And then when I get to 60, just power through and just maintain, don't panic, you feel anybody, and just run through the line.
It was such a tight race here, and this speaks to the level of competitiveness that the USA women have in this 100. So even speaking on relays, speaking on making a mark at the Olympic trials, talk to me about how you're going to make sure your name is known.
Just running fast, that's the best thing, because USA got one of the best runners, so you should outshine everybody else. So yeah.
Now tell me about what's next.
Next is New York and then Charles.
All right, good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well.
Thank you, Serenity. Tamara Clark, the winner in the women's 100. Elsewhere in our competition here tonight is this lovely track, Edwin C. Moses track at the And there is a live look in our field where long jump and high jump are neighbors. That high jump competition just getting underway as well.
You see Vashti Cunningham setting up on approach. World indoor champion, bronze medalist from the World Championships in Doha in 2019. She watches that video with her father. Randall Cunningham's been her coach for her entire career. Great athlete in his own right. Fantastic football player, the NFL quarterback.
Decent guy at that.
May have heard of him.
Familiar with his work. And you see there the bar will start at 1.65 m, go up to 170 from there, 175, and then 3 centimeters each time. As those ladies in a field of 8 will chase the Olympic standard of 1.87 m. And this is a live look at Tyra Gittens in the women's long jump. And this is the final round of jumps. And you could tell from the look in her eye as she took the runway that she was determined for an improvement here.
Yeah, and in the same way that these athletes are kind of running out of races, running out of times to get into the blocks, every single one of these attempts for these field event athletes are also numbered to get the distance they need to get the standards to fix all the technical issues that you need to fix, and a lot can go wrong. That wasn't an improvement. The run looked really strong. You can see the frustration. And again, in the Olympic year, it's not just any kind of frustration. There's a special version of that comes around every 4 years.
6.29 m there for Tyra Gittens, who had jumped 6.44 earlier in the competition. Final round of jumps, and Jack Saunders up next in that women's long jump that continues at Vashti Cunningham. Talking with coach and dad, getting ready for the high jump.
Watching that replay of the video, trying to dial everything in on the approach, the depth of the curve that she's running so that she can get that apex right over the bar. We'll see how she looks later as the bar gets a little higher.
Up next on the track, it is the women's 400 meters. And right in the middle of the track here, Talitha Diggs, the very talented American, a 20 champion in 2022 at 400 meters, two-time NCAA champion. The talented Florida Gator will be right in the middle of the track here in Atlanta.
Yeah, she came out of that NCAA season at Florida on absolute fire and took the U.S. women's 400 from gun to tape in that really just kind of coming out party, that magical weekend that she put it on everybody, and is now
U.S. runner-up in 2022,
trying to live up to those same times and expectations, trying to secure the spot on the Olympic team this year, and this is a part of it.
Something about the Southeastern Conference and ladies that run one lap over these last 5 years. Obviously, Sydney McLaughlin, who we will see take the track later tonight. Britton Wilson at the University of Arkansas. Talitha Diggs. That's just naming the tip of the iceberg in what is just a factory of United States Olympians at 400 meters.
Absolutely. As we in the foreground, we've got the former collegiate record holder Courtney Okolo from the University of Texas.
New SEC school as well.
I guess, yeah, you can start to claim them as SEC now. As also Kendall Ellis. Just to her rear, also somebody that has broken that 50-second barrier.
In lane 5 here, we have a world champion from 2019 in Doha, Sawaid Nasser. Just ran an unbelievable 400 in 2019 in Doha, 48.14. That is number 3 all-time in this event. 2017 world silver. Last year ran a 49.78, season's best in Spain. Olympic standard in this event, 50.95.
Yeah, I recall watching her at that meet. Every time she stepped on the track, just seemed to just run like her hair was on fire. Improving upon improving, surprising even herself. That magical week, and sometimes everything just kind of, it lines up. As we wait, it looks like she's the one having a little bit of issues with her blocks. Trying to get them lined up. And as another athlete sitting and waiting or watching this, you be respectful, you wait, but the whole time you're waiting. It's not something you enjoy waiting for. You're ready. You've done your final shakeouts, your final strides. Your body's ready to go.
And the 2019 world champion getting closer to being ready with the rest of this field. Chloe Abbott, Courtney Okolo, Kendall Ellis, Talitha Diggs, who has the Olympic standard. Personal best for her of 49.92, Sawaid Nasser, Bailey Lear, Quinera Hayes, and Paula Moran. This is an all-star field. And Diggs, the only one with that Olympic standard. There she is, running in lane number 4 at 50.95. Only her second outdoor race in 51.77 in China, April 27th. Ready to go, women's 400. Here from Atlanta, expecting something quick. The 2022 U.S. champion, the 2019 world champ, and a spectacular field of 8 ready to go.
The first 150 meters will be indicative of how the rest of this goes. Look for Sawa to get out very well.
Stand up.
And they'll stand him up. The wait continues, Treyarch.
It matters. If you get in the blocks and something doesn't feel right, you hold your hand up, you fix the issue. This is too important not to have everything just right.
On your marks.
They'll put him in the blocks again. Get a close look at the 2019 world champ. And this long wait to run one trip around the Edwin C. Moses track will finally come to an end.
Set.
Clean start of the women's 400, the 2019 world champ, the 2022 U.S. champ. And Sawa Eid Nasser is out quickly, running there in the red with the blonde hair in lane number 5. Talitha Diggs trying to make up ground. There's Quinera Hayes and Paula Moran on the outside as they make this long turn at Morehouse College. And Sawa Eid Nasser has the advantage, running very strong. The 2019 world champion liking to get out quick, an aggressive start. For the 26-year-old from Bahrain, Hayes on the outside, Diggs trying to close, but Eid Nasser side by side with Hayes on the outside. Kendall Ellis, the former USC Trojan, is running well on the inside. Eid Nasser fading, Hayes surging, Ellis on the inside. Moran is in there, but it's going to be Quinera Hayes, the 32-year-old who was 7th at Tokyo, taking a very entertaining women's 400. A lot of twists to that race. 50.88 is the winning time.
Miss Hayes just dipping under that Olympic standard, checking the box. She ran so patiently. Great distribution of energy, didn't get out too hard, was kind of running blind a little bit. She was way out on the outside, didn't know what else was going on. She overtook Moran early in this race, didn't see Nasser until very late, but was in control. You can see on her face, just so relaxed and patient. It's Kendall Ellis coming in from the inside in lane 3, getting ever so close to that Olympic standard, but just a little bit slow for that. But Quinera Hayes, fantastic run to take down a really talented field.
It takes down the Olympic standard, like you said, a 50.95, 50.88. For Quinera Hayes, another U.S. Olympic hopeful who will be looking to make it 2 straight trips on a U.S. team to the Olympic Games. Great race in the Atlanta Heat here on the last weekend in May at Morehouse College in the Puma American Track League. And we're going to hear from Quinera here in just a moment. I always feel bad for the 400 runners who have to talk intelligently to us here at home, and that's what Quinera Hayes is going to do right now with our Serenity Douglas.
Quinera, now you were all the way in that outside lane, so it was really tough to see anybody else. What was your race strategy coming in, and did you execute it well today?
Today was just all about executing the things I worked on in practice. So I wasn't really worried about which lane I was in. It was just about execution, and I did execute well.
And you're a mommy now, so your preparation for your races are a little bit different. So tell us, how was your morning?
It was great. My son is in North Carolina with my mom right now, so when I'm at a meet, I don't have to worry about anything because I know he's taken care of.
And you just dipped under that Olympic standard. It's a tough one out there at the Olympic trials. Talk to me about what you're going to be doing between now and then.
Just working on my race strategy, my race plan, and just staying focused and to continue what I'm doing already.
All right, thank you so much. Back to you, Will.
Thank you, Serenity. And a great job by Quinera Hayes sounding intelligent and forming words into sentences after sprinting a 400 and immediately being put in front of the camera.
Yeah, as I like to say, all that blood is allocated to other parts. It's not, the brain is not that important at that moment. Trying to recover.
It's a great way to put it. As you see where we are right here in downtown Atlanta. In the men's 400, the Olympic standard is 45.00. And we've got a group of 8 that have not yet run that time. This is Christopher Bailey of the United States, world champion on the U.S. 4x4 last summer, ran the opening heats, was 0-2 off the Olympic standard last year at USA's in the semifinal. He's .03 off of it this year with a time of 45.03.
He's just watched Conera drop and dip under that time. It's definitely on the table for Chris Bailey today.
5 Americans in this field, Will London in 3.
Set.
Off and running in the men's 400, lane number 5, Christopher Bailey. He'll battle with Alonzo Russell to his outside. And Will London running in lane number 3 as well. A very talented field of men's 400-meter runners going after 45.00. And there is Alonzo Russell, the 32-year-old who ran in the first round of the World Championships last year, second in the Bahamas last summer with good speed. Dubem Nwachukwu of Nigeria on the inside, the Arizona State grad, but here comes Bailey into your picture, surging in front, trying to hold on through these final 50 meters. You see the focus on his face as Bailey wins the race and looks for a clock. 44.42 for Christopher Bailey.
44.42. Ja'Cory Patterson finishing runner-up, 45.19.
You heard him after he saw the clock. He was peeking down the whole home stretch at that clock, did not know what time he would run until he came across right here. He starts looking at the finish line. I think he surprised even himself with how fast this was. Just puts daylight between he and the rest of the field. He's still staring at that clock. Points at it before he gets past it. Just an incredible display of fitness and patience. The men to his inside. Brian Faust had almost all but made up that stagger on the backstretch, and I thought he was in trouble. Something looked amiss, but the way he was able to apply pressure and have such a patient race model from 200 to 400 meters, that's how you run 44.4.
The number 9 time in the world this year, Christopher Bailey just ran it, and now he talks to Serenity.
Now, I would like to take note that Christopher came and found me. After running a 44.4, he has all this energy, but it has to have something to do with training. Let us in on a little bit of those insights.
Training is going well. This is my second year at Arkansas. So last year was just me getting familiar with the programming and whatever. But this year, it's an Olympic year, so everything has changed. So I'm just prepared.
And we've seen you on a world stage at World Relays. You have gotten a bronze medal indoors with the 4x4, actually. So talk to me about how you don't have a sponsorship yet you've been on these world-class relays and these world-class races.
Track and field in the USA is deep, especially for the 400. So I'm not really too stressed about not having a contract. Making that outdoor team last year really set me up for this Olympic year. So I'm just focused on the big goal, which is the Olympics. Sponsorships come later.
And the men's 400 is pretty wide open this year. How are you going to make sure that everybody knows Christopher Bailey's name?
Just doing what I do best, going out there and putting it out on the track.
That's it. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Will?
All right, thank you, Serenity. The Arkansas Razorback, Christopher Bailey, not only getting the Olympic standard, getting a new career best in the men's 400. High jump competition is getting started. We saw Vashti Cunningham warming up, bar up to 1.70 meters. In the live picture there as Anna Hall, who has a season's best to 170 this year. Coming back from injury, looking to piece this together after a hurdles race, and now simulating a little bit of that multi-event day with the high jump as well.
The life of the multi-eventer, for certain.
What do you know about that?
Not as much as Anna Hall knows. I was never that good, but she is just trying to get to the trials healthy and through the trials and into Paris with the confidence that she had in years past.
The Olympic standard in the women's high jump, 1.87 m. Anna Hall, a personal best of 192 in Europe last year. 1,500-meter runners are getting warmed up down the backstretch. We can't tell you Tiffany Flynn won the women's long jump, so we continue to update you on all of these things as they happen. And the men's 1,500 start lists is right there for you. An Olympic standard of 3:33.5. Mile conversion up to 3:54.0. And a good list of runners here in this one. Josh Thompson will wear hip number 6 in that field, third at the 2022 U.S. Championships, made that World Championships final in Eugene, finishing 12th. He was 6th at the 2021 Olympic trials in this field of 14, paced by Rob Heppenstall.
I always had an affinity for this race. I went to the University of Texas, got to watch Lionel Manzano, one of the greats, Olympic silver medalist in 2012. He was a teammate of mine. But now my affinity has grown into like a true love of the tactical nature and the speed that these athletes now possess. I think everyone wants to argue about, you know, super shoes this or like new surfaces that, but I think it's a different kind of athlete that's running the men's 1,500 now. I think that this Olympic standard, what they're chasing right here, 3:33.5, it's attainable for more than half of this field now.
You saw Sam Prakel there wearing hip number 11, the 29-year-old who was 4th at the U.S. Championships last summer. Won the U.S. Road Mile last year, ran a season's best to finish 6th at the L.A. Grand Prix back on May the 18th. And what a competition that was for so many of these runners taking season's bests into today. Men's 1,500 is off and running. Josh Thompson, Amon Kimboy, Sam Prakel, Casey Nevillebard, Kieran Tunavate, among those that take nearly 4 laps around this track here, the Edwin C. Moses track in Atlanta. Morehouse College and Nick Dahl, 25-year-old American, will go straight to the front, following Rob Heppenstall, the man tasked with setting the pace here today in the ATL. Amon Kimboy runs up there in the top 3 as well, with Josh Thompson on the inside.
See how quick Heppenstall takes them through the first quarter, kind of just setting the table and giving them the chance to dip under that standard. The split at 800, the all-important split. Everyone just trying to get to that moment in a good position, on time, on pace. Low hands, easy breathing on top of yourself. Shouldn't be overexerted, shouldn't feel easy by any means either. But everybody here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to leave here with a nice standard and a ton of momentum going into the month of June.
About 57.5 through the opening 400 unofficially. We'll get here to 800 to go imminently as Dahl continues to run alongside Kimboy there at the front of this pack. You got Thompson, Gregoric in there as well. Of course, Amon Kimboy ran his season's best in his last race. Another one again, May 18th in Los Angeles, 3:36.69. His personal best was last June at the Portland Track Fest. The Kenyan ran 3:34.12. 3:33.5 is the mark that all these men are looking for here tonight. And on that last lap, 58.17 for Kimboy and Heppenstall. And Heppenstall will step aside. This is Amon Kimboy's race to now set the pace out in front, running in the lead. Josh Thompson, John Gregoric, Nick Dahl, Kieran Tunavate, and Casey Nevillebard in that field, all chasing this man, Kimboy.
He did a good job tucking into Heppenstall, staying right in the slipstream, right in the groove as we head into the final lap. They cracked a 58 leading into that. That was another 58 right there in the middle. They'll have to drop something a little bit faster if they want to dip under 3:33, Will.
Here comes Jack Salisbury, the 26-year-old, in his first outdoor 1,500 meter of the year. Ran a 3:57 mile at the Penn Relays, and Salisbury is pushing very hard here on the outside. Ton of 8. The Thailand national record holder at 3:37.41. He's making a big push. The Harvard man on the outside of Amon Kimboy, but as Sam Prakel timed his push at the perfect time. This is anybody's race. Gonna be a blanket finish in the men's 1,500. The Olympic standard, 3:33.5. They sprint for home. Who's got enough gas left in the tank? Is it Sam Prakel? Looking up at the clock, races it home. Prakel is gonna have enough speed at the end to take it. 3:35.73, closing in 55.62. John Reinowicki second. John Gregoric rounding out the top 3, closing in 56.29, running 3:35.99.
Smart race from Sam Prakel. Timed his move, waited till about 2:25 to start to push to the outside shoulders of the leaders. So we had 6 men under 3:37 right there. Coming through in this last 100, almost going 5 wide, but Prakel looking strong, tall, relaxed.
Sizable field here in the women's 1,500 meters. We will allow them to get underway and introduce the athletes while they are racing. We've got
So Prakel, in a very close finish, takes it. And excellent timing on that push around those final 200 meters. In an excellent race here in our men's 1,500. Sam Prakel is downstairs with Serenity.
Now, Sam, you have plenty of experience for a race like this. So how has your experience just made you feel more comfortable in high caliber racing?
I think just knowing that if I just move at the right time, I'll have a shot to win. I just want to put myself in position with 300 to go and slowly just stalk the lead and save a card with 80 to go. And I think just knowing that my speed's coming around gave me some confidence the last 80.
And you've spoken about focusing more on yourself this year. What does that look like for you?
Just going into the race, trusting my training, knowing I can compete with anyone, and if I just move with confidence in the race, that I'll be happy with the effort.
You basically matched your season 5 out here today. Are you happy with the race?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know if the race would go fast or not, and I think I just wanted to kind of not worry about time too much and focus on winning and competing, because that's what's going to matter at the trials.
And good luck at the trials. Congrats.
Thank you.
Will?
Thank you so much, Serenity. Sam Prakel doing a good job talking through the deep breaths. And again, I feel like I'm taking deep breaths with these guys and girls when they talk to us. And we just have headsets on. Women's 1,500 on deck. Olympic standard here is 4:02.50. Or for a mile, 4:20.9. We've got 3 ladies who have run that standard, including Canada's Lucia Stafford, who ran a personal best at the LA Grand Prix May the 18th, securing that Olympic standard, the 2-time defending Canadian champion. And it is a very good thing to be running personal bests leading into an Olympic Games.
Yeah, I think Sam made a really good point there when he was talking to Serenity just about racing, about stepping to the line, and he was going to race this event. It wasn't about for Sam chasing any times. It was about getting in, staying in the right position, and making the move when he needs to. And this women's field is chock full of savvy racers.
So women's 1,500 is off and running. You got Lucia Stafford. You've got Heather MacLean, ranked 8th all-time in U.S. history. September 2022, she ran 3:58.76. secured the Olympic standard by 100th at the LA Grand Prix, running 4:02.49. You see the overhead look at these ladies getting started. Addie Wiley is in this field as well, 20-year-old who was 5th at the World U20 Championships in 2022, number 11 all-time in U.S. history. And back on April 20th, ran 4:03.45. She was 5th at the U.S. Championships last year, a very talented half-miler and miler that U.S. track and field fans are starting to know as a household name at 20 years old. Let's check in real quick downstairs with Serenity.
I'm with the winner of the women's long jump, 671, Miss Tiffany Flynn. I know you were just talking about consistency. Is that what you were looking for coming into today?
Honestly, yes. Just trusting my training and trusting that the big jumps are coming. So with consistency comes a big jump. So just trusting my training, and the consistency is a show that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So.
Now, I know you personally, so what were you looking for coming into today? Give me a mark.
7 meters, to be real.
And that's okay?
For real. Yeah.
Now, what's next for you in between now and Olympic trials?
I'm going to do Chula Vista next week and then gear up for trials.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Back to you, Will.
Thank you, Serenity. And the women's 1500, the pacer is off on the outside, and we've got Heather MacLean running right there up front here in this field.
That pacer was Kate Grace, who just clocked around 2 minutes in the 800 earlier this evening, doing double duty, maybe getting a little bit of a workout right here, trying to pull these women along.
Went through that first 300, 46.04, 67.09. McLean and Stafford there leading proceedings. Got Dorcas Uwoy of Kenya, Addie Wiley, who we mentioned, Stephanie Brokaw, the American, and a quick top 5, single file here, waiting to maybe make a move here. Stafford, the Canadian, right behind Heather MacLean, the American.
Heather looks relaxed, confident, bouncy, really comfortable, as Addie Wiley is starting to make a move into the top 3, find a position before they come into the turn. Simultaneously, we get to see one of the best athletes in the world, Anna Hall, on her attempt in the high jump right there.
So Wiley on the outside, Stafford there with Heather MacLean, who's got the Olympic standard. These 3 out in front all have that Olympic standard. Addie Wiley, who ran a personal best last September in Belgium at 3:59.17. 2 of the best in U.S. history are side by side, and MacLean and Wiley with a 2-time defending Canadian champion. Stafford still running very quickly in there as well. She was at the World Championships last year in Budapest, and this top 3 keeps changing order. Addie Wiley now in front. Stafford says, don't forget about me. MacLean rounding out a very quick top 3. Let's see if the lead changes once again here in these final 100 meters. Wiley taking a peek up with the clock. The final 100 in this women's 1500. Stafford swinging to the outside. The legs turn, the arms come forward, and Stafford, the grimace on her face, has got maybe a half a step. MacLean there too. To the line they go, and it's tight. Too close to call. Stafford and MacLean just kept trading the lead all the way down to the final meter. And it is Heather MacLean, 4:02.64. Lucia Stafford, 4:02.65.
Well, I think we had about 7 lead changes in the final 250 meters. The 3 that were the class of the field all playing their cards. Back and forth and back and forth. And it was Heather MacLean to play that final card right at the very end. You can see she's being so patient. A lot of athletes would tie up right here, but she just bides her time. Knows Wiley's not gonna give up the inside. Sneaks onto that outside shoulder to just get Stafford at the line. Wow.
And is as close as it gets as you look at this finish again. Lead changing 3 times in maybe the last 30 meters. My goodness.
But these are the kind of reps that matter. These are the kinds of races you have to find yourself in. You have to stick your nose in, because this is exactly what they're going to experience. Stafford at her trials, and both Heather and Addie at the U.S. Olympic trials in late June. You've got to know what it feels like to be in the depths, fatigued, hurting, burning, and still have to go for it.
And Serenity Douglas is downstairs with our winner.
200 meters. Ladies and gentlemen, Gwen Torrance.
Competitiveness that this women's 1500 has.
Yeah, I mean, Addie and Lou are amazing competitors, and I'm so lucky to be lining up with them every time that I get to, and I know we compete well against each other, so I'm just fortunate to be out there. And the women's middle distance running is skyrocketing, so it's nice to be with some of the best in the world as well, so yeah.
And you are an experienced runner, so can you tell us about what was your race strategy coming in? It was a little bit windy for you guys as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to work on being competitive and putting myself in it. Actually, I forgot who I was watching, but somebody was saying, like, this athlete, even when they get past towards the end, they try to never give up. So I really tried to channel that today, because I did get past, and I was like, okay, you know what? I still got a chance to bring it back, so I was happy I was able to.
And that's a great mindset to have. What's next between now and Olympic trials?
I'm racing in 800 next week at Adrian Martinez Classic, so I'm excited to get some speed under me before the trials.
Are you going to try to do both for Olympic trials?
I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Will.
Thank you, Serenity. As we continue here from the Edwin Moses Legends Meet, we are a half hour away from City McLaughlin, and we go back to the sprints with the 200 coming up next. Back at Atlanta Morehouse College, where we bring you the debut of the 2024 American Track League season. Two-time world champion Trey Hardy. Got another Texas Longhorn down on the field in Serenity Douglas. I finished 150th at my first race in cross country at the other UT at Tennessee. You don't want to hear about that. I'm Will Bowling. This is the women's high jump that continues.
A track fan is a track fan. Doesn't matter where you started or what you did. It is the pinnacle of human performance. And it doesn't matter how fast you run, how far you jump, how high you jump. You understand how special it is to watch some of these athletes do what they do.
All right, 1m81, that was Jamari Drake, former Georgia Bulldog. Got a lot of those here in Atlanta tonight. As that competition continues, there is Vashti Cunningham. And there is the start list for the women's 200. Tamari Davis, 21-year-old who has already achieved so much. Gold in Budapest with the U.S. 4x1. Was at the World Relays with the United States earlier this month. Third at the U.S. Championships last year. 9th in the world final. And she'll have the now Canadian record holder at 100, Andrea Leduc, to her outside. Davis is in lane number 5. Olympic standard 22:57, the mark that these ladies are gunning for. Lead start as we watch Tamari Davis run in lane number 5 here right in the middle of your screen, and it is an excellent start for the decorated U.S. superstar sprinter. With Leduc to her outside, it's Tamari Davis stepping away from the field, trying to hold off the Canadian to her right. They continue stride for stride. Leduc making up ground, and Leduc will take it. It was very close, but Andre Leduc 22:36. And that is legal win and a career best for the Canadian.
I think that face says it all right there. What a battle. Very rarely do you have athletes like that in a 200-meter dash, stride for stride, in the entire last 100. Neither athlete giving an inch. Each of them just pulling the other one along to that time. That's a fantastic run here this evening by Audrey Leduc.
In 22:36, when legal is a Canadian record for Andre Leduc, who now takes the 100 record earlier this spring. Her name is at the top of the Canadian record books at 100 and 200. Taking Crystal Emanuel's record that she ran back in 2017, that was 22.5. 22:36, the new all-time Canadian best right here at Morehouse College.
Do you think she knows she just broke the Canadian record?
Well, we know she didn't when she broke the 100-meter record.
In the 100, she wasn't sure, but she got two things off the books, Serenity, the Olympic standard and the Canadian record.
Well, let's all find out together. Serenity's downstairs with Audrey.
All right, Audrey, I have some really good news for you. You just broke the Canadian record. Is that what you were gunning for today?
No, it was not, but I'm happy that it did it.
And now you finally got a win legal time. You had a 22:77 under your belt, but it was a little windy. Now 22:36. What a huge drop. Tell me how you might celebrate this win.
Oh, honestly, I don't know, but I'm just super happy with the race. Felt good, so yeah.
Tell me about your training cycle in between now and Canadian trials.
Well, I have a lot of meet coming up, so yeah, preparing for the meets and just be ready.
Well, congratulations on the record and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will?
Andre Leduc, her personal bests are now the Canadian records, 100 and 200. Here in Atlanta with a new best in the 200. And back in the high jump, 181 as we continue on. Midway through that competition in the field here at Morehouse College as well. So men's 200 is next. And we are going to see the return of Matt Bowling, two-time NCAA indoor champion in this event, the pride of the University of Georgia. Ran 20:42 in Bermuda to finish second there with very heavy wind. And Trey maybe didn't have the race he wanted earlier this afternoon in the 100.
And maybe that was on purpose. This could be something that they were trying to set up and get everything going, get everything timed up for this race in particular. As you see those personal bests, I remember taking my family to the Texas State Championship meet when he was just in high school, just to get the chance to see him. I thought he was a legend before he even left. Ended up having a fantastic career in Georgia, started to run more 400s, getting that speed, endurance, and this is kind of the sweet spot for him. Dropping down from the 400s, able to put a little more heat, a little more speed into the turns. We'll see what he can come up with.
And to answer everyone's next question, no, we're not related. He is, though, one of the few bowlings that actually spells it the way I do. There's no W in there like the sport. I don't know, maybe related. I'll claim it, I mean, if he'll let me.
I'll have to get you out on the track tomorrow and run a 100 and then run a 200 and just compare times.
As long as we put all these really nice cameras away, then maybe. I would be fine with that, but not even a phone will be allowed to watch my hamstrings just pop. Terrence Laird is going to be in lane 6. Christian Miller, outstanding 18-year-old who is ranked #1 in the world at 100. American U20 record 993 for him, April 20th in Florida. Only 5 runners under 20 have broken 20 seconds. Of course, Arion Knighton, U20 record holder, taking that from Usain Bolt. And on the outside, that's David Dunlap, who will run in lane number 8. Terrence Laird was 6th at the Tokyo trials at 200, running 20:15. Last year, he ran 20:06 in the 200 in his only race at that distance. And injuries really took away 2022 for him. It's a frustrating story for the 2021 NCAA champion for LSU, who is back in a big way and has a personal best of 1981. That's the best in this field.
Yeah, looking forward to see Terrence get back on track, get back to his old ways, set the world on fire that season in the NCAA. One of the fastest men in the world that year. And each race stepping back closer to that form.
A couple of years ago, Matt Bowling was the high school superstar sensation. Now it's Christian Miller from Creekside High School. Today they run side by side, Miller in the red and black in 4, Bowling in the all black in 5. Clean start, even across the board. Matt Bowling out well, running in lane number 5. Christian Miller is stride for stride with him. Bowling making up the stagger on Laird to his outside, but it's Miller who has the lead halfway home. There on the inside in lane 2, you've got Elijah Morrow. Miller stepping away. Here comes Laird on the outside, and Terrence Laird powerfully surges across the finish line, your winner. Don't call it a comeback, 20.3. Terrence Laird takes the win, the talented American. Oh, he is back in a big way. Miller second, 20:54. Bowling third in 20:58.
That was cool, calm, and collected right there. For Terrence Laird, wasn't in the best position, but he didn't panic. Coming around the bend, getting into the home stretch through that exchange zone. He could have tightened up. He could have panicked a little bit, but he stayed relaxed, stayed open, tall. Really, really lovely running. Like, it just looks so smooth when he's running. So happy to have him back.
Results there, 20.3, just off the season best, but a win against a star-studded field that the 25-year-old American will certainly take. Terrence Laird, the former NCAA champion, getting back to form and taking the win here in Atlanta. Let's go downstairs to Serenity.
So I'm going to call this one, where has Terrence Laird been? You had a huge impact in college. Where did you go?
Just injuries, just kind of all the chips stacking up against me. But now I'm healthy now. I'm just getting ready for Olympic trials and see what I can do.
So to have been dealing with injuries like that, coming back out here, it can be tough because there could be a mental block and you never know if something can happen again. So how do you prepare for races such as this?
It's just another race. Just because, you might feel something, nobody's 100% healthy. And I've went through it all through LSU career and before, so it's just another day at the office. Just go out here, put my best foot forward and run, see what I can do, and then make the tweaks and corrections next week at practice. Tired, can't breathe.
Well, of course you're tired. You just ran really fast.
Yeah, I guess it was all right. I feel like a lot of things I could have already done better, but it's all right. I'm cool with it.
And you packed your bags. You're no longer in Baton Rouge. You are now training in LA. Who's your training group? What is it like?
So I'm by myself. I'm with Coach Darrell Smith, of Cal Poly Pomona. And we just kind of been just working on things where, just getting stronger, focusing on a lot of things deficiencies I had, and just staying healthy is the hardest part. Just because of all the injuries I've had, just kind of just setbacks and everything. But we got a plan, and it's going to come to fruition.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Well.
Thank you so much, Serenity. And that leaves us with what we might say Trey Hardy is the main event. I think that's a safe assumption. 400 hurdles are on deck. The men followed by the women. Sydney McLaughlin gets ready to run in 10 minutes.
Remember me, I'm the one who had I'm the one
I have to give it to Sydney. She's a fantastic athlete. She's the queen of track and field. The 400-meter hurdles are the hot events both in the men and the women because they can produce anything, a world record, anytime that someone gets out on the track. I'm looking forward to her probably. I'm sure she's going to have the fastest time in the world right here on this track. She's already proven that she's in top condition, running a 22:07, 200 meters and 12:7 in the 100-meter hurdles. So she's going to be ready to go. I'm just proud to be able to host a fellow 400-meter hurdle world record holder and gold medalist here at Morehouse.
From one U.S. 400-meter hurdles icon to another, Edwin Moses introducing Sydney McLaughlin. What do you think she's thinking about right now?
Man, that's the $1 million question, Will. I think that's what everybody wants to know in the track and field world from the outside looking in. Took a step away from the event.
Okay.
Has competed sparingly. Heard through the grapevine, her coach, legendary Bobby Kersey, has said she is fit. And I don't know what that means. If he said that she's been fit in years past, and also that was right before she set those world records. So no matter what, we're in for a treat. She's run a blistering 200-meter dash, so we know that her speed is there. She's run a very quick 100-meter hurdle race, so we know that the technique and the form is there. But the 400-meter hurdles is a different kind of beast. It's not just speed and it's not just technique. There is strength and power and rhythm. All of those things have to come together for 400 meters and 10 hurdles in order to put something down that is worthy of that woman right there.
Getting in the zone and getting ready for her race in the women's 400-meter hurdles. Top time of the world is 53.72. Sid takes the track in just about 10 minutes. Our only race left tonight is the race that Edwin Moses went unbeaten in for 10 years, winning 122 consecutive races, 107 of them finals from 1977 to 1987. There is just something about this event in U.S. track and field.
Just hearing you say that, it doesn't sound real. I think for myself of this generation, we can only, ask people who were around what it was like to see that, what it was like to witness that. And a lot of times they say, well, imagine like Sydney. Imagine what Sydney is doing. Edwin did that. He broke the world record 4 times. No one could touch him. And you said 10 years. It was 9 years, 9 months, and 9 days.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yep.
One of those things that'll stick with you forever.
Nearly 10 years. That's right.
That's some trivia right there. And it's just really special that it's come all the way back around. And he's right. These are the 2 hottest events in track and field for that reason. Every time you get to a major championship final or have these stacked fields, you're looking at a possible world record.
And on the men's side, this race has been a blast as well. Ryan Benjamin, Carson Warholm, and Alison Dos Santos have had some battles, and this, ladies and gentlemen, today has a little bit of a different meaning. It is the $1 million race, and the $1 million would not just go to the man running 47:02. So that is the Edwin Moses time to beat, still the number 6 time ever in this event. Trey Hardy tonight, if somebody in this race runs 47:02 or better, they will get $900,000, and someone in the crowd will get $100,000.
It's not a bad deal. That's really generous of you, Will, to offer up that $1 million of your own money.
Just about to ask you if broadcasters counted, if we could put our names in the hat for this, but I'm thinking, unfortunately, that's probably not true. So that is the personal best of Edwin Moses. So they're going to have to hit it exact. I'll specify here, and I'll get this right. There are hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. This is something that I want to get correct. If the winner runs 47.02 on the dot, not 100th higher or lower, then somebody sitting here with us in Atlanta tonight is taking home a smooth 100 grand. And the winner would take 900 grand. I love it.
Would not be a bad day at the office here. In the marquee event.
So we've got an excellent field here in this men's 400-meter hurdles. The Olympic standard is 48.7. Last July, Khalifa Rosser of the United States ran 48.71. Ever so close to that mark that he has broken in his career. 47.59 is his PB. He was 5th at the Eugene World Champs after a 3rd place finish at the U.S. Championships. Tells you again, too, just how loaded this event is on the men's and women's side for the United States. Audric Bailey is in here as well, ran a personal best to finish 4th at the 2021 trials, 7th at the 2022 champs. The 30-year-old will be in lane number 5. World lead 46.63, belonging to Alison dos Santos.
Yeah, it can't be understated what Karsten Warholm and Rai Benjamin have been able to do over the last 3 or 4 seasons, and just really open the floodgates of what's physically possible in this event. For the longest time, it was Edwin Moses, then Kevin Young, and those records stood for a really long time, and they seemed not quite unattainable, but just out of reach. And now, all of a sudden, we've got Dos Santos. We've got a whole slew of people worldwide that are running times now that would win medals in major global championships. And some of those times that won those medals wouldn't even make finals now. It's just a new dawn and a new era.
122 consecutive races. This guy was not only a talented runner, he was a physics and industrial engineering major at Morehouse. That is not the easiest thing to study while you're running over hurdles and winning hundreds of races. Winning U.S. titles in 77, 79, 81, and 83. And then, let's go to physics and industrial engineering and learn about things that are way over most people's heads.
Yeah, right there. The man he was hugging right there is the famous Bobby Kersey, coach of Sydney McLaughlin, coached Allison Felix toward the end of her career. You'd be hard-pressed to find a major global championships or Olympics where one of Bobby's athletes wasn't winning a medal.
It's one of the most entertaining events in world track and field in the year 2024. The 400-meter hurdles. The men followed by the women. Wrapping up our competition here tonight from the heart of downtown Atlanta. Field that includes 5 of the best Americans. Khalifa Rosser, Audric Bailey headlining the field. A clean start. Rosser in lane 6 with the headband. In lane 5, you see Audric Bailey smooth over the start. Here are the men's 400 hurdles, and Rosser with the advantage down the backstretch. Looking strong. With Bailey behind him, you got James Smith, who celebrated his 24th birthday last week. 6th at USA's last year as a Texas Aggie. And way to the outside, Jakeem Smith, the 3-time defending Bahamas champion, is running very quickly as well. And Smith is going to take this thing in the lead into the final 100 meters. Running blind on the way outside in lane number 8. Smith with Rosser gaining ground. Bailey and Smith on the inside are battling. And Jakeem Smith from the Bahamas maybe never saw another runner the whole race, and none of them beat him anyway. 48.79, he just barely misses the Olympic standard, but that is a huge personal best for the 3-time defending champion from the Bahamas.
Running out there on an island, literally and figuratively, the man from the Bahamas. Call it running scared, call it running blind, but whatever it was, That worked for Shakeem Smith. Went out hard, held that all the way through the turn, and had the strength to hold on. A lot of times what you see coming into those 9th and 10th hurdles is form breakdown, chopping steps, not getting that lead leg up over the hurdle and crashing the hurdle, but he keeps waiting for someone to run up next to him, and they were not going to make it in time. Shakeem Smith, fantastic personal best.
And a look from above at this finish. Very talented field that tried to sprint in behind him. But here at Morehouse College, Shakeem Smith will take home a shiny new personal best. He run 49.25, now 48.79. And the full results here for you. Rosser and Smith both going under 49 seconds. Bailey, Smith, Poole rounding out that top 5. Shakeem Smith fired up as we begin to get ready for Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in a few minutes. Downstairs, Serenity has a very special guest down on the track.
I do have a very special guest, Mr. Edwin Moses, the man, the myth, the legend. Now, you were just telling Shakeem, the winner of the 400 hurdles. I know that feeling. Do you miss it?
I do not miss it. As I told you, I feel his pain.
Straight pain. Now, talk to me about how it feels to see all of these people here at your meet. Did you think when you were breaking all of those records and winning those Olympic golds that this would be the turnout of your future as well?
No, because we didn't have a track when I was running. That came in many years later. I never had the opportunity to run on a track at Morehouse College. So when we got the track refurbished over the last 2 years, my vision and the team that we put together, my guys, my Morehouse guys that discussed and made it possible for the track to be installed along with Billy Aaron, Hank Aaron's widow, who actually financed it. We wanted to install a track that could be certifiable for world records. It was an international track, international standards, all the equipment, everything first class. And then secondarily, we saw that we could, if we had all that, then we could have a crowd like we have today.
Now, Mr. Moses, you know all about setting records, and specifically world records. Now, we're about to see possibly a legendary race in the making. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is going to be opening her season in the 400 hurdles right now. So can you speak to me about the pressure that she must feel of every time she steps on the track? They're looking for that 50.6.
Well, she's got to qualify for the Olympic trials, which is important for her. I mean, that's a technical thing. But I think the women's best time so far is in the mid 53s, and she's running a 50 point. So we're probably going to see the best time in the world this year, run here on the track. The weather's perfect, just a little bit of a breeze. So I'm just happy to have a world record holder, an Olympic champion at the track at Morehouse College.
Legendary. Thank you so much for chopping it up with me just a little bit. Now we got to go watch Sydney. Back to you, Will.
All right, thank you, Serenity. Rochelle Clayton has the top time of the world this year, 53.72 in the women's 400-meter hurdles. And the lady that has run the fastest time ever in this event is back. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone for the first time since August 8th, 2022 in Hungary, on a day where she ran 51.68. Sydney is back in her world record event. Trey Hardy, what do you want to see from her today?
I want to see how it all comes together. I think we're poised to see one of the fastest runs in history based on her fitness, based on the 100-meter hurdles we've seen, the 200-meter dashes we've seen, and over the Atlantic, there's a Dutch woman named Femke Bol who has been setting the world on fire and made it known that she wants gold in Paris in this event. But the only thing standing between her and that gold is this woman right here, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. There's been a lot of build-up to this event, to say the least, Will.
On your marks. Set.
A clean starter with that. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is back in her signature event over the first hurdle. The world record holder gets started around this track at Morehouse College in Atlanta.
She got out really, really well. Not chopping her steps quite, but she's got lots of speed. She's trying to learn how to drive this new fast car. Coming around, looks smooth and in rhythm, is making up staggers and putting distance on the field at 200.
A world record holder in our midst in Atlanta. Look at her go. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is back in a big way. The crowd at their feet. They're seeing a world record holder live in person. Her first 400 hurdles since August of 2022. It's going to be quick. The world record holder is here. Look out, world. Sydney's back. 52.7. And by over a second, the #1 time in the world in 2024.
We knew we'd get a world lead. Barring tragedy, we knew it would be Sydney. That's about as easy and smooth and controlled as anyone has ever run any race. That was just butter. We get the congratulatory handshake. Two of the greatest of all time meeting at the end. It doesn't look like Sydney is affected as much as the other athletes have been after the ends of their races. Not a lot of huffing and puffing. Able to hold the conversation with Dr. Moses.
Legendary performances. So on behalf of the American Track League,
that is U.S. track and field royalty.
And on behalf of the infield compatriot,
and it looked like Sydney was just out there for a training.
Castling. My name is Rob Vermillion. We'll see you again next year. Thank you for coming.
I think partially a look of relief on Sydney's face, getting that out of the way. The Olympic standard is done. She's got her seat at the table. She's ready for the Olympic trials and the rounds that are to come.
Here's how she did it. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone knocking off the rust, and she looked anything but rusty, Trey Hardy.
Yeah, entering the back stretch looked like just almost like not anxious, not out of sorts, but fast. Like almost too fast. It needs to be, the steps need to be on schedule and on rhythm. If you're too close to the hurdles, it breaks your momentum. You're not able to carry that speed around the track. And it doesn't matter if you're Sydney McLaughlin or someone just learning the event with 100 meters to go, it hurts. There's no amount of speed work that you can do to make up the time lost on the front side. But for the first time running this event in about 10 months. Again, I can't say it enough how smooth and controlled and effortless she makes that look.
Just another day at the office for the world record holder and Olympic gold medalist in the women's 400-meter hurdles. 52.7. As you see the results and you see the crowd that is ready to experience a moment with athletics royalty. Serenity's downstairs with Sydney.
Sydney, congratulations on your win and your 52.7. Talk to me about why you decided to keep all of your races in the United States this season. What was your mindset behind that?
I mean, I love racing and I love Europe, but I think just in a year like this, coming off injury last year, we just wanted to be safe. No, travel can take a lot out of the body, but hopefully going to get some more races out there, just playing it safe until we can get to these trials.
Then you spoke about you just wanted the Olympic standard, which was 54, but you went way under that. So talk to me about how you just keep your goals, right? Nice and simple. It's not necessarily 50.6 for you.
It's a progression, you know, shaking the rust off after 2 years. I'll take a 52.7. Things to work on. We haven't had much hurdle practice, so there's a lot to improve.
then to open your season at a legendary meet such as this with Edwin Moses ready, standing here to congratulate you right afterwards. Talk to me about how much of an honor that must have felt.
Amazing. I've watched him so many times trying to model races after him, and to be able to have him here congratulate me and for him to put on this meet is amazing.
Congratulations, Sydney. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will?
It's a progression, she says, Trey Hardy, after running the #1 time in the world.
I quote, not a lot of hurdle work. My jaw is on the floor. I'm going to try to pick up my jaw while Serenity, you take it from here.
Let's go back down to Serenity.
Paul Doyle, please explain this shirt. If we could get a close-up on this Sydney shirt. Sydney, do you like it?
It's beautiful. I didn't even know they made them, but they look great.
Edwin Moses Legends Meet on it. So,
Paul, to host such an amazing meet such as this, for all of these fans to have so much access to it. We're not in Europe, we're right here in the States and at a HBCU. Talk to me about how important it was.
I mean, everything is important about promoting the sport of track and field. We need to get our events off the ground. We had the best crowd since the 1996 Olympics tonight. How many there were? An amazing event. Kids loved it. Fans loved it. We need to do more of this.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Paul. Which one was your favorite race to see today?
Come on. Of course. I did love the 1500 as well, though. The women's 15 was pretty.
Now, Sydney, I'm going to sneak over to you as well. I saw you still listening to music all the way up until your race. Let us in. What were you listening to?
Caleb Gordon. Shout out, Caleb.
Thank you, Sydney. And thank you, Paul. Back to y'all, Will.
All right. Thank you, Serenity. Great work downstairs all night. What an opener. There she is, back at the 400 hurdles, first time since August of 2022.
There's stars and there's superstars. And that right there is a superstar. Everybody coming out to see something special. And she is special every time she steps on the track.
And then a picture right here, Trey Hardy, you get what the American Track League is all about. Bringing athletes that have a lot of different options when they choose their schedules, when they pinpoint the races that matter most in tuning up for a Paris Olympics, for a U.S. Olympic trials, and getting youth of Atlanta, getting anyone around the South to come see Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. I would love to know just how many miles were traveled by a lot of this crowd that's here just to see her.
Yeah, I would imagine quite a bit. And one more shout out to Paul Doyle and the American Track League for just access and opportunity in putting on these events that attract these stars, that give people the chance in the crowd. We don't know who there may be. There could be the next Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. There could be the next Edwin Moses in the crowd. Getting the chance to witness something this special and get so close to these Olympic stars.
Yeah, you see what it means to the crowd here. A lot of eyeballs on one of the stars of Team USA this entire summer. Trey, as we wrap up tonight, great competition, and again, a salute to Paul Doyle and to the entire crew at the American Track League putting on this event. Your thoughts on what we watched over these last 2 hours plus?
We're getting into the final hours. We're in the 11th hour of the greatest time on the planet, and that is the summer of an Olympic Games. Paris is going to be amazing. The Olympic trials is coming up in less than a month. I'm excited to see what the athletes can bring, set the stage. They always deliver.
They sure do. And the stars were out in a big way today at Morehouse College in Atlanta. Special thanks to our great crew bringing you the pictures throughout the afternoon. Sydney McLaughlin is back, and the track is only starting to heat up this summer. For Trey Hardy, for Serenity Douglas, I'm Will Bowling. Our entire crew saying good night. We'll see you next time.
Remember me.